What's up? It's George the Fragrance Apprentice. Now, have you noticed yet? No, you've not. Fine. Well, in that case, you're probably just looking at the set thinking, George, you said you were going to make the set look good. Nothing's changed. But it has. Oh, it has. Right? Right, watch. Just keep watching, alright? Hang on. You still watching? Look at this. Look at that. Hey? It's bloody good, that, isn't it? Hang on. Look at that. Can you see that? That's amazing. We're breaking new ground right here. Bleu de Chanel. Parfum. I'm late to the game, obviously. I'm late to the game with a lot of these fragrances, a lot of these big, heavy releases. But I wanted to do a review because this is quite a special review in a way because, well, quite frankly, I've never actually suited or worn Bleu de Chanel's very well. I've had friends, it's been one of the only fragrances in my life where I know that I like the smell. The smell is very good, but it doesn't suit me. It suits other people, it'll suit friends that I wear, and I'll be really jealous, but it won't suit me. But Bleu de Chanel Parfum is actually the first ever one that has suited me. So I'm going to try and take that into consideration with this review, that it might just be the wow factor that, oh, it doesn't smell like bitter bananas on me like the other two do. But I know that to certain Bleu de Chanel fanboys, this was actually a disappointing release, so I'm going to try and take that into consideration as well. So let's get into it. Would you like this Bleu de Chanel Parfum? Not the Eau de Parfum, not the Eau de Toilette, just Parfum edition. Well, for me, I've actually been wearing this quite a lot now that it's gotten colder. It wasn't in my autumn or fall list because I haven't worn it that much. I've not been that into it, but I've been getting into it. If I'm honest, I've been wearing this off and on ever since we did the battle video between this and Dior Sauvage Parfum. If it hadn't been for that battle idea and us wanting to do the Parfum, the battles of the two Parfums first, I would have never have bought this. I would have never tried this. So in a way, it's quite lucky that I did. I bought this little 50ml here. And so from what I can make out, if you're looking for quite a bold signature scent, I think this would make a very good signature scent in the colder weather. But if you're wanting something that is bolder, spicier, it isn't too sweet, it's actually a little bit more soapy, it's a lot more like one of those blue fragrances that have taken over the market, then this would be perfect for you. This isn't a clubbing fragrance. Most of the Chanels aren't very good clubbing fragrances, but it's a good, well-meaning, cleanly fragrance for the cold. This would be fantastic in spring as well, I could imagine. Summer, not so much. It's got quite a bit of incense, it's got quite a bit of a dark undercurrent running through it. So this is fantastic for the colder weather, for autumn, for winter at times, on the warmer days of winter, for the more milder days. The presentation, I think it looks brilliant. I think that the Chanel bottles all look very slick, very cool. They're very influenced by fashion pieces, decorative fashion pieces. The Chanel Allure Homme Sport was actually inspired by one of the Chanel watches. So they're really in tune with that. They're really in tune with their presentation. They're very solid and very forward thinking about how cool and how interesting and how fashionable and how sassy and sexy their fragrance bottles are going to look. They kind of always have a competition between themselves and Dior with making a fashion piece looking bottle. And so yeah, it looks absolutely phenomenal, it's fantastic. I actually really like the dark navy blue with this, it's kind of like a yellowy sort of faded gold text colour, and I think that actually looks even cooler than the white. It looks a little bit more pronounced, it looks a little bit more expensive. Presentation overall for Bleu de Chanel Parfum is going to be getting a 5 out of 5 from me. So you look at the note breakdown of Bleu de Chanel Parfum, and a few things come to mind in my head. And so I love Olivier Polly's work, the Chanel's in-house perfumier. I think that he is fantastic. I think that he's made such incredible masterpieces. I think that Allure Homme Sport is phenomenal. Everybody knows that I love Allure Homme Sport. Allure Homme Edition Blanche I think is phenomenal as well in its own way. Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme is not something that I have ever worn and gone, right, I need to have that, but I can respect that it's a great variation on the theme of Allure Homme Sport. So when Bleu de Chanel came out, I was like, okay, I'm up for this. I'm just trying to look for something. Give me a minute. Yeah, I was like, I'm up for that. And I put Bleu de Chanel on, and it smelled like the eau de toilette. It smelled like bitter bananas on me. Didn't work out. Then they had the eau de Parfum come out. I got this because I actually bought this for the Colours shoot, the season 5 trailer. Ironically, we didn't even get to use that footage, so I've got a full 100ml of Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum, and I've never used it. I should probably sell it. But it's a great reference point. But this was, again, it was bitter bananas, but with pepper, right? And it just didn't work on my skin. And I was very genuinely upset because I like it on other people. On other people, it really, really works. And it's a nice, pleasant blue smell. It is basically the originator of the modern wave of blue fragrances, but it just wasn't working. It just wasn't working. Bleu de Chanel Parfum comes along, and I wear it, and it just completely works like heaven. There's a few things about it that I've got it sprayed on this arm. Let me just give myself a refresher. It's got the lemon zest and all that kind of stuff, and it has got the showery gel accords. But with the sandalwood and the cedarwood, and there's also amberwood, that gives it this silkier, thick tone that just gives it a lot of breadth. It gives it a lot of depth. It gives it a lot of gravitas. So you've got this shower jelly, zesty thing, but underneath you've got the genuine lemon zest, which smells pretty bloody good, and this thick ambery accord with the woods and everything like that, and it just smells fab on me. I could imagine there are some people who would not like this, and I can totally see why people would not like this. But it smelled a little bit more exotic. It smelled a little bit more tangy. It smelled kind of like it had Jesus. It kind of smelled as though it had the depth similar to like a Jaffa cake. So with a Jaffa cake, you have like the zesty or the zesty punch, but instead of it being an orange zesty, it's a shower gel lemony zesty kind of deal. But underneath that is of course the cake. You know, the bakery, the baking of it, and you've got that warm, soft, mellow, I don't know what, dough, I suppose, is a good way of putting it, and I just really got that with this. And so you get also kind of like an incensey kind of edge to it, but it's not like a church incense or anything like that. It's more like an incense that you would just light up in your own home, kind of like a patchouli incense or something like that, or jasmine, more likely a jasmine incense that's just underneath that, and it just swells and is fantastic. And it just works on my skin. And if I'm honest, I'm biased because I just like the fact that it works on my skin. I was like, oh, a Bleu de Chanel, it works. Somebody please call the Guinness Book of World Records. It's finally happened. You know, it was a very big deal to me. But it's the best one. With that, you've got the usual shower jelly kind of thing, but there's so much more to it that gave it a maturity, that gave it a sophistication, that was very cultivated, and that was very crafted. And all of the pieces that Olivier Polge usually does, where he creates a very, very well-constructed fragrance that, like, there's no note to miss, he's got it all and he's made it absolutely perfect. I was finally getting that from a Bleu de Chanel fragrance. Is it the greatest fragrance in the world? No. Is it one of the greatest blue fragrances I've ever smelled? Yes. And if you're wanting to get into blue fragrances, but you don't want something silly and soapy and juvenile and way too sugary, this would be perfect for that because it doesn't have that much sugar. It's actually just got a lot more of a tangy kind of edge. And like I said, it's got that cake underneath, so it gives it this kind of almost flowery sweetness, and it's fantastic. I really love the scent. I would personally give the scent a 4 out of 5, and I've really enjoyed wearing it. So performance, it's definitely not this. It's definitely not Dior Sauvage Parfum. This got a bit of a roasting, of course, earlier this year. Well, most of us gave us a roasting. The others got paid. But, this fragrance is not very good performance-wise at all, is Dior Sauvage Parfum. And so I was a bit concerned when I got this, but this performance is great. It's solid. It's still not Parfum, which should be insane and crazy and whatever, but I wouldn't want this to be insane and crazy. This is just solid. It's a very solid performance, kind of similar to, just any good designer fragrance, like a Dior Homme, or like an Angel Men, or, like a Yves Saint Laurent, L'Homme, or La Nuit de l'Homme, more in particular. It's just got that solid designer performance. So we're talking 8 to 12 hours, with longevity, and projection is good, solid, people can smell you, but it's not overtaking, and it's certainly not a skin scent. So when I wear this, I get 2 to 3 hours where it's really quite solid, and then it just incrementally comes in, and around about hour 10, it's basically a skin scent, but you can live with that. So performance, I'd say projection is a really solid 4. And longevity is a really solid 4, sometimes maybe even pushing to a 5, but not that much. No, probably a 4, a solid 4. Overall, I am going to say I have been delighted with Bleu de Chanel Parfum. Maybe it's because I felt a little bit left out. I've said all of that previously in this review, but I really enjoyed it. I think that it's good, it's clean, it's crisp. But it's also very punchy, and it's got all of these darker and deeper elements that I'm actually now starting to really enjoy it just in the colder weather. And if I want to go out and I want to impress and I want to dress up and I just want to meet some friends, and I know that I've got a fragrance that's going to smell good and smell wonderful and people are going to enjoy it, then Bleu de Chanel Parfum has me covered. Overall, I'm going to give this a rating of 4 out of 5. Yes, I can be a niche snob at times, but this has really, really just worked with me on my fragrance journey at the moment. So I hope that you got the information that you wanted. Thanks for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. I'm the Fragrance Price. Goodbye.